I rode a roller coaster yesterday. I saw someone fall down. We all lurched forward. Because of the sudden stop. I looked around. I didn't dare look down to see how high we were. 2 minutes earlier, my son and I were still waiting in line for this roller coaster, and even got the front row seats. Is something wrong? The girl behind us asked. It was hard to turn around in this seat, but I still looked back at her. I gave her a reassuring smile. We'll be fine. I said it for my son as well. He just turned 7. It was his first time here. I didn't want this to become a bad memory. Up until then, the day had been great. We had almost tried every ride in the park. I finally gave him the courage to try his very first roller coaster. Am I tall enough? He asked while waiting in line. We checked the height requirement at least 3 times. Aren't you scared? It looks so old. Bess crossed his arms and said, refusing to join us. That's part of the fun. I told him. I had a feeling he would complain to me as soon as we got off. We waited for a while, hoping the roller coaster would start moving again. But it didn't. 2 rows behind us, right behind the nervous girl, a voice spoke up. Well, at least it didn't rain today. That made me chuckle. That's true. It was cloudy today, I replied. Dylan looked at me, a little upset, because the trip wasn't what he had expected. What's going on? Did the roller coaster break? He asked firmly. This happens often, it's just maintenance issues. The man 2 rows back said. But the girl between us wasn't so optimistic. Hey, hello. Can someone help us? The roller coaster is stuck. The person closest to the track shouted, I really wish I had my phone right now. Another girl sighed. To catch the staff's attention, I decided to join in their shouting. I'll go get maintenance. A guy shouted he looked like a newbie. Probably just started working here. Oh, this is terrible. Dylan groaned. No need to complain. Might as well enjoy the moment. The man in the back row commented. The other passengers were annoyed too. I sighed, apologetically shrugging at my son. I'm sure they'll be back soon. We can go ride something else, I suggested. I just want to go home now. I kind of hate this place, he complained. Kid, that's a little ungrateful to your dad. I bet he spent quite a bit to bring you all here. The man behind us commented. Don't let your kid talk to you like that. Show some backbone, he told me. I can handle it, I said, peeking through the seat gap to look at him. He looked about my dad's age. Maybe just as nosy too. Kids these days, you do everything to make them happy. And they don't appreciate it, he said angrily. I could tell he was just rambling at that point. So while waiting, I tried to ignore him. I saw Bess standing at the right exit, staring at me in frustration. I told you this would happen, he shouted. I just shrugged. Sorry, Rick. We have to go. I've got an appointment at 3:30, he shouted. What? It's not like I made it get stuck on purpose, I muttered. Seriously? How much longer? He stomped his feet as he went to find staff. The girl behind us giggled. The man, however, wasn't amused. Man, don't you have any backbone? That made the girls laugh even harder. Mind your own business, okay, I told him. In my opinion, it's guys like you that ruin the fun for the rest of us, he sneered. I sighed, looking to see if anyone was coming. It felt like we had been here for at least half an hour. You can't discipline your kid. You let your wife walk all over you. Probably can't even afford the amusement park fees. You're only here to please your family. What a pushover, the man said. The girl behind me stopped giggling. His tone made them and me feel uneasy. Listen, I don't know who you are, but you need to shut up, I shouted. Dylan looked at me excitedly again. He was getting more and more scared. Rick, you're scaring me, he shouted while holding onto the seat in front of him. The girl screamed in terror. You coward. Useless guy, he shouted, and I sighed. Things were escalating too fast. But I didn't want to fight. I politely asked one last time, please stop talking. We're just as frustrated as you are, I tried to say calmly. Oh. So that's what you think? You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through to get here today. What I've sacrificed. I said, calm down. No need to get angry. Right, I said. I knew you were a coward. Just like everyone else here. I just wanted my precious daughter to enjoy the roller coaster, but they refused. I planned it weeks in advance. I paid for everything. But they said custody wouldn't change to the weekend. Just because I arranged a vacation. The girl behind me started crying. So I tried another tactic. Sir, you're scaring the children. But things only got worse. He reached out his right hand, grabbed that girl's hair, pulled her back, slammed her head against the roller coaster seat. Her friend screamed. What's wrong with you? She screamed. I'm sick of people telling me what to do. And when to do it. Shut up, you hear me? He shouted loudly. He pushed up his seat. The whole train shook. He became even more agitated. I held my breath. Heard some noises. Then I realized he had stood up. Not sitting in the roller coaster seat anymore. See that? That's karma. He got out of his seat, and on the emergency track said, Brother, please, sit back down. Wait for help to come. We've been stuck here for almost an hour. I said, hoping to reason with this man. He gave me a creepy smile and walked toward my son. He gently touched Dylan's head. My son slapped his hand away. The man's face immediately darkened. You Brett, how dare you hit me? He raised his hand to hit Dylan. I stopped him with a shout. What are you doing? Don't touch my kid, I roared. I gripped his arm tightly. He looked at me. And in that look, I understood. He had completely lost his sanity. He crawled to the front of the roller coaster and punched me in the face. Shut up, you spineless coward. He punched me again and again. Because of the seat restraints, I couldn't move. I could only block his punches. Finally, he grew exhausted as he wiped the sweat off his forehead. I heard Dylan and the girls screaming and crying. Other passengers were also frightened by his sudden outburst, afraid that this man would do something terrible. He walked toward the girl sitting behind us, laughing strangely, clutching his stomach. His whole body was shaking. You remind me of my precious daughter. Such a pity she couldn't come, he said as he reached out to touch the girl's arm. Don't touch me, she screamed. Don't talk to your elder like that, he shouted harshly, pressing her into the seat. I tried to get out of my seat. I had this thought. I didn't dare imagine what this man would do next. Finally, the seat bar came up. I stood up, turned, and grabbed him. Take your filthy hands off, I shouted. We both fell onto the tracks in front of the roller coaster. I felt my foot being caught by the metal debris on the track. The man tried to attack me again, beating me. I heard passengers screaming even louder. As I stumbled on the edge of the track, they cried out for help. I was almost pushed down. No one could control me, that man shouted. Then the roller coaster started moving forward again. I held tightly to the edge. The man turned around. This time, it was him who screamed. The roller coaster knocked him down. He was crushed on the track. The roller coaster kept going, dragging him to the first high point of the track. Then, I heard his loud scream as he fell. I crawled to a safe place, without looking down. A few minutes later, security personnel came to help me down. I waited at the exit for the roller coaster to arrive, and hugged my son and wife, apologizing every time for my outburst. I tried to comfort them from the trauma we just went through. Sorry this happened on the very first ride. We will provide everyone free skip the line passes for today, the maintenance manager said as he handed us vouchers. But not long after, they closed the amusement park. "911, what's your emergency? I'm being followed. Yes, I'm being stalked. I'm hiding at home now, too scared to go out. If I just went out, that little bastard would kill me." Who? One of my students. He's hunting me. He's standing in my driveway right now, waiting for me. He's wearing a mask. But I know it's him. Because besides him, I can't think of anyone else who would do something this perverted. Your student? Yes, I'm a French teacher at my school. He's a student in my class. Him. How old is this boy? 13 to 13, yes. I know this sounds ridiculous. And I know I'm cowardly. A middle-aged woman, actually afraid of a 13-year-old child. It sounds laughable. Calm down. Can you tell me your address? Okay, police are on their way to you. Where are you inside the house? I'm in the bedroom. I'm looking at him through the gap in the curtains. How long has he been there? About half an hour. Has he stayed in the same spot? Yes, hasn't moved. Is he wearing a mask? Yes, a pure white mask. Like the Phantom of the Opera. It covers his whole face. Are you sure it's him? I'm sure, yes. Then stay where you are, don't go out. Police are on the way. That student's appearance. Is there anything particularly distinctive? Did you see him carrying any weapons? I didn't see any weapons, but he's wearing a very large raincoat. But I don't know what he could be hiding inside. Oh my god. If he has a gun, he could even kill all the police. Don't worry. Just stay where you are. Don't hang up on me. He might be hiding a gun inside. Maybe even 10. I don't know why this kid became obsessed with me. His twisted desire has been brewing for months. What do you mean? This kid is crazy. He seems to really like me. Can you imagine that? I could be his mother. It's terrifying. And I am already a mother. My oldest son is only a year younger than Jared. Jared, that's the student's name. Yes, so are you home alone? Yes. He knew I was home alone today. That's why he came to me. How would he know that? Because he's been watching me for months now. He's been leaving carefully written lines on my desk, writing me explicit notes, following me on his bike to and from school. That's how he found out where I live. After I rejected him, he swore he would take revenge on me. What was the situation like then? One night, he cornered me in the school parking lot. He had a knife and a dozen red roses. He shoved a note into my hand and confessed to me. He said we were destined to be together, and that to be with me. He was ready to leave his family, to give up his old life, and he demanded that I do the same. What happened next? I told him I would never do that. I said he was crazy, told him to leave immediately, but he suddenly rushed at me, held the knife to my throat to threaten me. Luckily, a police car drove by. It scared Jared away. He disappeared into the dark, and I collapsed on the ground. I sat there crying for a full 30 minutes. Then I pulled myself together and drove away. I understand. Did you call the police then? I didn't do that at the time. Looking back now, I was really so foolish. Why didn't you call the police then? Because I was terrified. And it felt unbelievable. I also didn't want trouble for myself. Then the next morning, there was a note left on my desk. It said, "You will regret this. I'll make you taste pain. I won't stop. Just wait until you beg me. I see what you mean." Now he's standing outside my house with a mask, staring at the bedroom window. He knows I can see him. And he knows I'm watching him. Good, the police are finally here. The police will handle this. Now, I need you to stay put and wait. For further police instructions, I see them. I see the police car arriving. Wait, what's happening? He has a gun. He pulled out a gun from the house. He's aiming at the police. Is he going to shoot? Stay calm. How can I stay calm? He'll kill the police soon. And then, it'll be my turn. Although Jared injured one officer, they still managed to arrest him. He was taken to the police station. The caller was sent to the hospital in shock. The content of this call was truly chilling. But what happened next is what really scared me. After being in custody, he spent some time in a psychiatric hospital. But he was still obsessed with the caller. A few months later, Jared's condition improved. He was discharged, but he still needed regular treatment. After high school, he went to college. He never had any further contact with the caller. But the matter was not truly over. While searching for related information, I discovered that in 2018, at that time, he was already over 60. He was stabbed to death in the living room. The DNA found at the scene matched Jared's. But before the police could arrest him, he died in a car accident. Some people suspect he deliberately caused the crash to commit suicide, to escape responsibility, and willing to face the consequences of his terrible actions. I think that old saying is true. You never forget your first love. Add to that long years of suffering, torment, and a twisted mind that cannot be healed. And it led to this disaster. This was a cruel murder spanning more than 20 years. Yesterday I found a videotape at home. It recorded a murder case. I was helping my grandmother move furniture at the time. My mother passed away when I was very young. After that, my grandmother played the role of my mother. Since my accident, I had been living with her. With my grandmother's help, I regained my health. So, I tried my best to help her with all the physical work. I felt it was what I should do. At that time, in the attic, I accidentally knocked over a box. It was full of videotapes. Some went back as far as 1990. Only the year was written on them. There was also a TV in the attic. We used the attic as a functional room, not just a storage space. So, I decided to play those old tapes, hoping to see happy memories, family videos, scenery, anything at all. But instead, at the beginning of these videos, someone was holding the camera filming. A woman sitting alone at a small table, in a coffee shop. She was reading a book. The camera focused on her hair, shining under the light. The frame froze. Then the video jumped to a new scene. It looked like somewhere in downtown Chicago. I saw the back of the same woman, walking across the street, unaware of the person filming behind her. Now the sky was dark gray. I could see the headlights of passing cars, flashing on her boots. The camera brushed against the filmer's jacket. This person wasn't far from her, but the distance was enough to show they weren't together. It was clear he was stalking her. The monotonous walking lasted for about 5 minutes on screen. Then it cut to the woman tied up, stuffed into the trunk of a car. She was gagged, unable to speak. I could only hear the sound of heavy rain, and her screams and cries. Her muffled panic broke my heart. A chill ran down my spine. I could hardly keep my eyes open. At any moment the tape could become even more bizarre, morbid, life-threatening. And I could only watch in terror. I saw a hand in a black glove reach out from behind the camera, slam the trunk shut, trapping her inside. Now it was clearly nighttime. The next shot showed the woman again. She was tied to a chair, covered in blood from being beaten. The place seemed to be some kind of warehouse. The only source of light was a white paper lamp above her head, illuminating the deep red blood at her feet. It was late. She seemed to be propped up by a stand. I heard the poor woman making muffled, painful sounds, her mouth sealed with tape. I heard something moving on the cement floor, like someone shifting position. This was insane. I could hear the scraping of metal, like assembling tools, or pulling them out of a bag. I felt a wave of nausea. Then the stalker stepped into the frame, showing only his back, his head and back completely covered, holding a knife in his right hand. My heart completely stopped. Then the stalker lifted his drooping head, raising his face, and then hurt him. He writhed and gasped, desperately and vainly trying to survive. I had never seen so much snow in my life. Then the killer took off his mask and stared at the camera with a toothy grin. Then the screen cut to black. I'm now extremely tense. My blood flow slowed. My body almost faded, turning corpse-like pale. Grandma was watching me. She trembled on the other side of the room, trying to comfort me. She wept endlessly, almost unable to speak. She said she didn't want me to think of how I looked before the accident happened. Woke up at 1 a.m. The robot vacuum automatically came to my bedside and stared at me. I felt the robot vacuum wanted to kill my girlfriend. It was a birthday gift I gave her. She had always wanted one, but said we didn't have enough money. It was a new test model from Microcrystal, so the price was cheap when I brought it home. My girlfriend was overjoyed. She started the robot to clean the apartment, following it around happily the whole time, watching carefully as it vacuumed and steadily. Soon I realized the robot vacuum I bought had very weak suction, making it unable to effectively clean the apartment. My girlfriend was the type who cleaned often, so it didn't meet her cleanliness standards. She put the robot vacuum back in its box and stored it away, choosing to continue using the traditional vacuum cleaner. Honestly, I wasn't angry, as long as she was happy. After some time, she occasionally brought out the robot to clean the bedroom. One day she came to me and said she thought the robot vacuum wanted to hurt her. What are you talking about? I asked with a slightly doubtful tone. Every time I turn it on, it chases after me. Even if I leave it in the bedroom, when I go in, it comes after me. I chuckled, dismissing her complaint as a joke. She insisted she wasn't joking. I reassured her that the robot vacuum couldn't possibly want to kill her. A week later, she brought it out again to work in the bedroom. Screams and noise came from the kitchen. I rushed in, only to find my girlfriend on the floor, clutching her bruised foot. The robot vacuum was beside her. What happened? I asked. The robot fell on my foot. She cried in pain. Her foot was swelling. I carried her to the bedroom and applied ice to her foot. I told her to be careful next time. I was about to turn and leave when she called me back. She said it wasn't an accident. She must have seen the doubt on my face, but quickly added, when I picked it up to put it back, it slipped from my hands and fell onto my foot with a thud. Maybe a part had come loose. Or maybe because you refused to let it be part of our family, that's why it wants to kill you. I joked. But all I got was her fading smile. In the end, I still didn't believe that the robot would try to kill its owner. Because of this, my girlfriend was mad at me for several days. Then one night at 1 a.m., someone shook my shoulder and woke me up. I sat up straight, not knowing when or where I was. My girlfriend clung tightly to me, her hand on my shoulder, her eyes fixed on something on her side of the bed. What's wrong? I asked groggily. My eyelids about to close, still pointing with stiff fingers at her side of the bed. I didn't see anything. Then I realized she was pointing at the floor. I crawled to her side and looked down. There it was, sitting quietly on the floor, right next to her side of the bed. I could imagine a pair of robotic eyes staring at me, even with a smile. My girlfriend was clearly more terrified than I was. She refused to turn off the lights until I locked the robot in the storage room. Only then did she relax a little. In the following days, she begged me to either sell the robot or throw it in the trash. I didn't plan to throw it away. It was expensive, and I couldn't sell it anyway. Who would buy an untested robot vacuum? Especially one this dangerous. Besides, the money I'd get wouldn't be worth the trouble. I told my girlfriend I'd find a way to deal with it, mostly just to buy some time. After all, the robot was already locked in the storage room, so it couldn't hurt anyone. One day, I got a call from the hospital, saying my girlfriend had an accident at home and had to be hospitalized. I rushed over to see if she was okay. Broken ribs, bruises on her neck, a sprained ankle. Other than that, nothing too serious. It was the robot vacuum. She sobbed. My neck almost broke. I held her as she cried. Then I went back home. The robot was still locked in the storage room, as if it had never left. I picked it up and threw it into the trash. If it couldn't do what it wanted to do, then what use was it to me?